Hey guys, Red X Rain here, coming at you with another episode of Let's Play Heart of Darkness for the original PlayStation. Last time we left Andy here in this looping room of infinite death until we do something, so let's do something about that. Save the kid. This is a really super short section of the game, but you gotta move kind of quickly, like here, for example, to keep this from also crushing us. Must be some really strong plant life here in the Darklands to be able to hold back a giant rock like that. So sometimes I know, like the first time you played this game, this little area, even though it's very small and actually very direct, a very direct area of the game, it takes a little bit of it takes a little bit of trial and error to sometimes know which hole to fall down, what to do with the seeds, because they don't give you a whole lot of time. There's not really a whole lot of opportunities to like actually think about what you're doing in this area. And we can hear the, oh come on, we can hear the chattering of some, there we go, some Dark Souls here, and there up above is really what we're here to do is to get that the magic rock that Andy touched, couple episodes back, giving us this magic power, because now we want to give the power to the Amigos so that they can help us. Most of the Dark Souls in this area are grabbers. That's the name I call them. I don't really have official names, but I call them that. So there's not a huge risk that Andy's going to get eaten here. It's very confined space, so they more or less take it easy on you. And speaking of confined space, come on. This is actually a lot easier than it looks, although it kind of hurts your thumbs. Andy just has to stay ducked. Stay ducked? I don't know if that's grammatically correct. Some English teacher I am. But just keeping your thumb partially on the down button, but also moving forward. Go. Not too bad. And here we go, and then we can raise the magic rock. I know I've talked about it a lot, but this area in particular reminds me a lot of, if you've ever played it, reminds me a lot of Another World. Very geometric, heavy use of like hexagons and that sort of thing in the environment. Cool. So now that we have we've given the Amigos the power to fight for themselves again, they're going to help us out here a little bit in an area of the game that feels, I don't want to say out of place. I guess it's all right. It's not too tedious. Just some of these flying guys to take care of. Usual strategy applies here. Just sort of pit yourself against the wall just so they can't get on both sides of you, and really I'm just trying to focus more on not letting them hit me than actually aiming at any particular one. Oh, wow, that was really fast. Sometimes the Amigos help you out, too. They'll get one or two.
Sorry, guys.
Yeah, I feel like, this cutscene could have done just enough to show that the Amigos have the power to fight and zap and all that kind of stuff, but
Okay, drop me down there. See, amigo? Those guys weren't so tough.
Me vamos, Sandy. Help amigos.
Okay, I'm going back to find whiskey.
all right. Why Andy didn't say to just drop him off, like, in the castle gates or something like that, I don't know. I guess it would have made it less dramatic. It's storytelling convention, I suppose, to have to, make the journey. I think you can hit this guy. Here we go. Gotta get him to jump down. And it's best to get him on this screen, because otherwise he's going to grab you when you're here. And, grabbers, when you have ground enemies, usually not too bad, but definitely with the flying enemies, it's it's, you know, obviously you don't want that, because then you can't jump. Be nice if we can get that door open, but of course, that would be just like being dropped off right in the, you know, where we need to go. That would be too simple. So quick charge shot. Now this is, I think, one of the, screen for screen, one of the most difficult areas in the game. Partially because we get this new enemy here. Now, I'm gonna do something here just to kind of show it off. So, 2 quick shots will turn them into these like armed guard sort of things, into these, those sort of quivering gray blobs. They usually don't duck the big shots. So you can either do 2 small shots or you can do 1 charge shot. And then to destroy the blobs, you need to do a charge shot. Nothing else will work. This is kind of a dangerous area because we can't run, so we gotta shoot, turn, nice. So that particular guard there, not too bad, but as we'll see on this next screen, there we go. I want to make sure I didn't run and fall. Once you start combining them with other enemies, or there's even just multiples of them, they get to be. I mean, they're difficult in and of themselves. But they can. Oh, yeah. See, yeah. Okay, that wasn't very well timed. Let's try this again. Oh, and did I mention they can also breathe on the floor, which is really the attack that it's much harder to avoid, I think. I'm not great at jumping in this game. It's kind of a clunky mechanic. Takes them a while to jump. But yeah, usually the bigger threat that they are is that they distract you from other enemies that are, if you want to think about it this way, weaker, but you know, kill you just as easily, if not more easily, like those, you know, on this screen, it's those like Dark Souls that cling to the ceiling. Then, you know, you're so worried about trying to get these guys that you don't see one drops right on your head and you're dead. Not to mention also the, you know, adding to the difficulty that, you know, just because you kind of kill them doesn't actually mean they're dead, and so we'll see this probably a little bit later. Screens where there's lots of enemies plus those special guards, this is just a simple timing thing, but I don't want to step on that pink button right in front of me because that'll cause the column right above, there we go, to crush me. But yeah, once you get big rooms, you can access, you know, it might start off with like just 2 of those guys in a room, but if you're not careful, you can end up with like 4 or 5 of them if you don't, you know, if they keep like regenerating or whatever it is you want to call it from those blobs. I don't know why I'm having such a hard time in this area. I'm gonna just, this is probably the worst way to do this. Ooh. I'm just trying to get to an area where I can lure them so that they only come out of one hole, which is usually my basic strategy for killing these guys. Oh, see, oh, I hate when they come out like one right after the other because, yeah, because it's like they can, like the character models or whatever can exist like on top. Oh, come on, they can be on top of each other, from like the program's perspective, but you don't really see it, and so that's kind of bogus that they even do that. I'd really like if I could just stand here and just get them as they come out of this hole right in front, but I don't think that's gonna work. I guess I was doing okay, kind of where I was hanging out before, as long as they don't pull that. Oh, jeez. As long as they don't pull that crap where there's 2 on top of one another. I think that's the last one. Looks like it. Yeah. Yeah, a lot of quick reflexes in this area. Obviously, I had already mentioned how you know, these new enemies, these like silver guards or armed guards. I'm sure they have official names. I don't know what it is. And there's 2 more of them. I'm sure we'll see them later. You know, they make this area difficult, but also this area is like really sparse with, they're very stingy with like the checkpoint areas. So you can make it past a really difficult portion. For example, the so like the area where we first saw like 2 of them, and you have to like really make it past that to even like get to this point, and then be able to have like checked saved progress. So that's kind of bogus. But it's challenging. But it can wear a little bit, I think, on your kind of like your perseverance. Like it just gets so overwhelming, sort of tedious to have to do the same things over and over again. Speaking of tedious, we got the return of these spider shadow things. And this is definitely an opportunity, you know, this is one of those instances where when I was first on this screen, I got all of the grub guys. Not because you necessarily have to. You can just like fall right off of, you can just jump and, you know, make it to the screen below and have no problem. But you definitely want to get them before the spiders show up, because it's when you go back up after you've pressed the button, doing this little bit of backtracking, that the spiders show up. So you definitely don't want to have to fight the spiders and the grubs at the same time. Not in that small a space. This is really super not intuitive. I think it's weird that they even did this. This chain here, you actually do want to fall off of it. And you can do that either by running across or trying to jump. And then it drops us down here. So here's another area where we have, is it just one of these guys? It's not too bad. But we do have to be careful because we want to kill the, just like the regular shadow Dark Souls before we kill the armed one. Although I think the game is very clever, if you want to call it that, in that, yeah, see, they'll only come charging at you once you've killed that guard. And then, of course, you've got grabbers, so now I know for sure, yep, there's 2 more coming up. This is the kind of crap I'm talking about. Some would probably call it clever, intelligent level design. I just call it bullshit. Oh man, this is getting to be too much. I should probably just... Oh god, I don't even know if I can... Nope. Let's try this again. Yeah, so this is really what I was talking about before. Like, they're not crazy difficult enemies on their own, but the game places them very strategically, or the developers place them very strategically to really just make a screen that would otherwise be pretty simple at this point if you've gotten, you know, good control over the game and timing and that sort of thing. Fighting this kind of horde. This is going a lot better. I feel like there's probably no way, unless you're like super lucky, to get... Okay. I've taken on 2 before. 2 on their own, not too bad, really. Oh. I'm actually kind of glad that he jumped, because then that meant that the other one couldn't regenerate. Okay. Alright, that was alright. Yeah, a lot of quick acting areas here where, yeah, they just there are enemies like enemies that come like without warning. Really got to be quick on your toes, know where you're going. This is kind of an optional area, I guess, but I'll just kind of show like why it's here. So if on your first sort of before you get to like that room with like the grubs and everything, if you accidentally ran across the chain, this is how you'd get back up. But we, well, I knew where I was going, so we don't have to necessarily go up that area and do anything. So it would just take us back to, you know, business we've already taken care of. I'm pretty sure the buttons in this room, the one that I landed on over here on the right, oh my god, so many grabbers. I have a feeling that guy's not a grabber. The one in the center, I think, raises both pillars, which you don't want to do because then you're fighting. You can kind of see him over there pacing to the right. Well, now that I say it, you can't see it. Yeah, there's one of those shield guards. I think I was calling them armed, which doesn't really make sense because it's really more like they have shields and stuff. But you want to land on this one so that so you can just sort of take them on one at a time. In fact, I even wanted to jump over that just so they don't surprise me when I come over to this area, because it's really hard to fight them here. That's the other thing, is this area has a lot of sloping ground, which is sometimes annoying. We haven't really seen it too much fighting regular Dark Souls, but with the shield guards, you know, this like shot that Andy does, it moves in a straight line across the bottom of the ground, but it doesn't contour to the ground. So this is really, even though it's a more cramped area, this is actually a safer place to fight these guys because it's, again, it's flat ground. In the screen behind me, if Andy's at like the top of the, sort of like a hill, it'll just kind of continue on that trajectory. It doesn't cling to the ground below. Or this is the same sort of thing. If I was up here and I shot down, I'll even show it. See, it just kind of goes straight across. So again, depending on how you see it, clever level design, I guess, for the enemies, but kind of annoying for the player. This is a really interesting room. So here is actually a spot where you want to let them regenerate. You cannot kill these grubs, they're too fast, but what we can do is distract them by spawning a couple of shield guards, which I think is really cool. It's a mechanic that, or kind of a puzzle-solving thing, wouldn't really call it a mechanic. Interesting use of a puzzle that really only gets used in that one area. I mean, I guess there's only kind of so much that you can do with it before it would become repetitive. Yeah, sneaky. But it's cool that they switch things up a little bit. There's no killing these guys.
You see what real pain is when the master gets here.
Yeah, so you do have to get captured. We found whiskey, though. Okay, so we gotta get out of here. So, up above, we got a seed. I also like how Servant, which is, I'm pretty sure that's his name. He's just called Servant. That's his character name. He's just like, oh, you know, he's a terrible guard. Just watching us escape. Like, why even stand there? Furthermore, he could just climb up that and escape if he wanted to. But he won't. We don't have to destroy this, but I like to. Gives me a sense of closure, I guess. Not sure why Whiskey went to the right. Why he had to do that. Oh, because of the story, because we have to make the game longer. That's right. This area... Let's see if we can get this guy. Because I think there's some grubs here. Yep. Oh, shoot. We have to, yeah, there we go. Oh man, oh, this one's probably gonna get me. Oh, that was too close. Exciting, right? And you guys are getting this all for free. There's two paths that you can take here. You can do a run jump to try and get on the upper path, which I tried to do but did not do so successfully. It is the safer path, kind of, because you know, you only have to worry about the guys on the ceiling, but mostly the flying ones. You don't have to worry about grabbers getting you when the flyers come by. But it's only one, so it's not too bad. Oh my god. This freaking gymnast over here. He's serious? Come on. Damn. Ridiculous. But if you do take this bottom path, definitely don't stand in the middle. Don't know why you would. It's kind of obvious that that's the strategy here, is to stick to one side of the screen, but you know, you want to try and, whenever you have clusters of different types of enemies, it's always best to somehow break them up like this. See, I can at least sort of... There we go. I could, you know, the shield guards move pretty slow. And sometimes they don't even follow you onto other screens. Most of the time they do, but I don't know, for some reason AI, sometimes they don't. I don't know. But the regular Dark Souls, they run really quick. So even if a shield one starts following after you onto the next screen, you can at least maybe take care of, you know, 2 or 3, if not more, regular Dark Souls before the shield one gets there.
Why do I always get these jobs? Master, look! The magic rock! Now I've got the power!
You have the power, King. Well, not for long.
Also, not too sure how he got a hold of that. No cutscene explaining that. You can't see, but I'm pressing the triangle buttons, I'm pressing the circle buttons. Now that the magic rock is destroyed, Andy is once again defenseless. And what a terrible time. This isn't looking good. We're probably just gonna die. No, you just gotta time that. Very tricky timing. This area actually reminds me of, and I'm surprised this game hasn't come up before, because it's a very similar type of game and one of my favorites, Oddworld. Especially, I think it was Abe's Odyssey that had, like the Paramite and the Scrab, like temple areas where you had to like, there was like no time to think. You just had to like run and like just know where everything was. It reminds me a lot of, this particular section of this game reminds me a lot of that game. Obviously, there's, I think, a lot of crossover between those two games, the side-scrolling 2D, 3D blended. Also, you know, sort of on the surface, kind of like weak heroes, kind of underdog characters who are kind of defenseless, have to use their wits. Although I do sometimes take offense a little bit to people who say like, oh, Heart of Darkness, that's just the poor man's Oddworld. Which I think is unfair. Oddworld really is a great game. And so here we are, we just sort of circled back, but all the enemies are gone now for some reason. Oh. Hello. Well. Is this the end of the game? Is this just, how it goes? Apparently not. Let's see if we got a scene. But this feels like such a great opportunity to just take a break. Left Andy in a pretty dangerous situation last time, let him get in that infinite loop of being smashed against a rock, and here we'll just, you know, maybe leave him to digest in this monster's belly. So yeah, I'm gonna take a break here. So thanks for watching. Please like, please comment, please subscribe. I do always appreciate it. And I'll see you guys next time when Andy gets turned into poo.